Hey everybody, long time no see. We're going to be doing the Shorties tutorial today from Lowlands Kids, so go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, and check us out on all of our social media platforms. Go ahead and pause this if you need to. Alright, so let's get started. You're going to need the Lowlands Kids Shorties pattern. There's actually a fold line here, but I put mine together like so. So that I don't have to cut on a fold, and I can just cut one piece. And I do double cut those so that I can just lay it on a single piece of fabric and I don't have to fold it. So you'll get a front piece and a back piece and 2 leg cuffs here. And you'll do the side seams, the crotch curve here, and then you'll do the ham hot method on your cuffs. Just like this. And you'll sew that raw edge there. You either sew or serge. I use a serger. And then the pattern actually calls for, I think 1 inch elastic, but I like to use 3/4 elastic. I find it works better. So you're going to go ahead and make this in a loop here. I zigzag stitch my elastic like this here. That's what it looks like when I zigzag stitch it. I just overlap it a little bit. And now I'm just going to 1/4 up my elastic here, making 4 equal points. And as you can see, I also did the side seams and the crotch curve of the Shorties, and then I also did the ham hot method on the cuffs. So then you're going to 1/4 up your, well, it's not quartering. I already snipped these pieces here. You can 1/4 these as well. I just do 2 points. I use the side seam and then the point that I did there. And then you're going to need to 1/4 up the waistband as well. So I use the 2 side seams and then I just make the back and the front snips here. Okay, so now we're going to the serger to add these leg cuffs, and this is how I make sure the directional print. So I'm going to go right here and grab my cuff, and then I like to pin the side seam to the crotch curve, but then you'll flip it up, and since these are facing down, your leg cuff goes like that. You can flip it up if you want to, but the trick basically is put the cuff in the way you want it to face, the print to face. So in this case, we want the print to face downward towards the leg, and then you just serge this on. And you don't have to stretch really at all because the leg hole is perfect for the cuff. The cuff, needs to be stretched just a little bit, but just go around in the circle to serge that cuff on. And then if you're curious on where I got these clips from, they have a 100 pack at waywalk.com. I can link it down below. I got 2 packs and I love it. Especially for all the people who were freaking out previously of me putting needles in my mouth. So, and then you're going to grab your little knit picker if you have that. Apparently I can't find mine. Oh, there it is. And then you just pull that side, or pull the tail in. This secures your tail. And then just cut that little excess off. And then we're going to do the other one really fast. Same thing. I start at the crotch part here, and then I'll just match up my side seam of the cuff. And like I said, if you want to make sure that your directional fabric is going to turn out correctly when you do your cuff, you can either flip it or just pay attention to the inside of your cuff to make sure that it's facing the way you want it to go. And so in this case, it's the little Highland cow, and so I want the feet to be facing down towards the leg. So Just serge around in that circle again. As you can see there, that's what I mean by you want the feet to be facing down on that Highland cow. So whatever kind of print you're using, just make sure when you put it in there like this, if you're putting the leg cuff into the garment, right sides together like this, just make sure that your direction is facing the way you want it to go. So like a waistband, you'd want the print facing up, obviously. And the leg bands, you'd want the print facing down. I think. Or you'd want it facing the same way. I don't know. That stuff confuses me. So let's get this elastic on the waistband. I always just flip it. That's the best way that I can figure out the directional fabric. I don't trust the other methods. I just flip it. I'll pin it and flip it to make sure. So let's go ahead and add this elastic. I do like to put my overlapped part of my elastic on the middle back here. So I'm going to go ahead and clip it here. And then just clip it around. I do use 3 clips on this because the 4th one, there's no reason to put a clip on it when I'm about to take it off and put it right underneath my serger knife. That's just a little extra tidbit of information. You can do whatever you want though. You can use 4 clips. I don't care. You can use 10 clips. Whatever you need to do to get this done. But this is just what I do. I'm just matching up my points here. Alright, so then this is the one that I said I leave a clip off, and then I'll go ahead and just sit it under my serger knife here, and I get started a little bit to make sure that that needle goes into the elastic, and I am just cutting off that 1/4 inch that I left right up against the elastic here. As you can see, it's coming off, and I am pulling the elastic taut so that my fabric is flat. That's all I'm doing here, and I'm pulling each pin section or clipped section as I go. Just enough pressure to lay my fabric tight and flat. And as you can see, the back edge, it's kind of already ruffling up a little bit. But yeah. So like I said, you're cutting off that 1/4 inch edge that you left at the top of the elastic that I failed to mention earlier as I was pinning clipping the elastic to the top. So sorry about that. But I do leave a 1/4 inch of the fabric at the top there. And then you'll just overlap where you started and tuck your tail here if you want it to be like a perfect finish. You can clip your tail here because you are going to top stitch the elastic down, but I like to go ahead and just tuck my tail so there's no crazy threads popping out anywhere. And then I do like to go ahead and use my sewing machine now to kind of baste stitch my tag in so it doesn't wiggle. So then I'll just put my tag right here and then just do a tiny little lengthened base stitch right here with my sewing machine off camera. This is what it looks like. And yeah, I do need to write my batch number on these tags, so they are compliant. All right, I'm at my cover stitch now, and I am going to just cover stitch this elastic down or top stitch this elastic down. And so because I used the 1/2 inch, or I didn't use 1/2 inch, I used 3/4 inch elastic. I'm going to go ahead and just pin the quarters here. It's like the middle, and how I find the middle is I do the sides. I'll just, make sure my seams are sandwiched correctly here so there's no weird ruffles on the side. And then I will just pull both side seams and mark the middle. It's the best way to get it flat like that. And then I just clip them. And then you see those lines on the cover stitch. I'm going to utilize those to make this as pretty as possible. So you will need to do some stretching and you will need to do some paying attention to the lines on your machine. All right, so I'm going to remove this clip. Make sure your tags are not, like all folded up under here. So I'm going to use this bold line right here to line my fabric up again. So if you have 3/4 inch elastic, you do that. And if you're using the 1 inch elastic, and then you're also going to pull as you sew. So just like we did putting the elastic on, you are going to pull, and also make sure that you're pulling your fabric down taut around your elastic. Not too much that the elastic folds, but just enough that you don't have extra above your elastic. and just keep it lined up with that line and stretch just so that the fabric is straight and there's no wrinkles. But like I said, you would just go, if you're using the 1-inch elastic, you'd use that next line up. But you just keep doing this, making sure that fabric, like I said, is pulled down so that you don't have a lot of excess fabric above the top of the elastic, because it will look a little weird. So as you can see with my thumb there, I'm kind of pulling the fabric down. And then you'll make sure, again, I go ahead and just clip my little 1 piece on the back and 2 in the front here, just to make sure when I overlap, it's really pretty. And neat. And then make sure when you do this part here, when you're pulling it back through to end it, that you make sure your tag isn't flipped again. You want to make sure that tag is flat and not up in the seam. And then you'll overlap a little bit. Lift your tension, go ahead and pull your needle threads, and then pull something, or use something to pull them out from underneath, like this. Snip them, and then release your looper thread to pull it. Mine's being silly. Sometimes you have to wiggle it a little bit. Yep, and then clip them all, and that pulls them all 3 to the back. And if you want to knot them, you can. I like to just tighten them a little bit, and then I knot them once for good measure, and then snip them, and we are done. Super simple. The main thing you have to remember is to just use your lines. Make sure your fabric's pulled down. It will take some practice. Mine did not look great the first few times. It feels a little weird, but that's what the inside looks like. Perfection. And then this is what they look like when you flip them out. And this was a, I think, Kate and Rain file that I got printed, of course, at Little Ray's Fabric. That's where we get all of our custom fabric printed. So check them out. I'll link them down below. But yeah, this is how I do the shorties from Lowland Kids. So thank you so much for watching, and hope to see you guys again soon. Bye!